What's up, guys? Welcome to the Josh and Katie Show. I'm Katie.
I'm Josh.
When it comes to reopening offices and going back to work, it seems like everybody from Google, Facebook, Twitter, to Silicon Valley as a whole is being very slow and methodical about this decision amid the coronavirus pandemic.
Which honestly has us wondering, will Silicon Valley be remote forever?
So Josh and I have been working remote since the start of March. So it's been 169 days since we've stepped into any sort of office whatsoever.
Which is almost half a year of just working remote from laptops in our parents' basements.
It's been pretty wild.
So back in May, my old company, Twitter, sent out a company-wide email saying that basically employees could work remote forever as long as they wanted.
So Twitter was the first one to do this, but then shortly after, Google announced that all of their employees will be remote through the summer of 2021 so that the employees could sign year-long leases and plan at least for the next year that they wouldn't be back in the office. Facebook also said that most of its workforce will be permanently shifting to a remote workforce over the next decade or so. So along with Twitter, Google, Facebook, Slack, and I think Shopify and
a ton of companies.
A handful of companies also announced permanent work from home plans.
So as far as our companies go, Katie and I will for sure be working remote through the end of March of next year, 2021. And it could be longer than that. They keep pushing dates back as things develop and as they look at case numbers of coronavirus.
How it's worked on our end is that initially they said we'd be back in the office in July, then it went to September, then it went to December, and now it's March. For how things are trending, I would expect it to continue at least through the summer of 2021.
And tech employees are definitely taking advantage of this situation and taking these companies up on their offers to go work remote somewhere. And that does change the cities where these offices and where these companies are based out of, but it also impacts the cities that these employees are eventually moving to.
This is a substantial shift. These policies change a lot. And while it's too soon to tell exactly how they're going to impact the Bay Area and other tech hubs, what we do know is that July rental listings for one bedrooms in San Francisco dropped by 11% on the price compared to the year previously. And in Cupertino and Sunnyvale and Mountain View, the rental listing prices dropped by 15% year over year. So you're seeing big shifts even in the last couple months as tech employees are, it's a small minority, but enough that it would manipulate or adjust prices downward.
Basically, there's a lot of shifting and a lot of movement and culture changes around what it looks like to work at a tech company. This is going to impact a lot of other industries too. Tech often is kind of at the forefront of these workplace innovations. They were the first companies to have free food in the offices, free childcare perks.
The open concept office that is super popular across a ton of industries now, started in tech.
Yeah.
So they definitely are on the forefront of a lot of employee culture and office culture.
And so any changes that you see here are very likely going to impact other industries too.
I think it's pretty safe to assume that San Francisco will be drastically different than it was. It already is drastically different than it was 6 months ago. A year from now, I think San Francisco will look drastically different. I think the Bay Area will look and feel drastically different. And I think work and jobs, they feel so different than they did 6 months ago. I can't, in February when things were normal, it's a completely different world for work. And I think that trend will continue through the next year.
So while most of America is in the middle of opening up for modified daily life, it's going to be a long time before tech companies are ready to bring in thousands and thousands of employees back into these offices. Lots of tech workers can do their jobs really well from just a laptop working remote, and so there's not a ton of benefit to bringing in thousands and thousands of employees back into the office.
Yeah, not a ton of benefit and a lot of potential risk. I know you guys have seen our day in the life videos. You've seen the open kind of catered food environment, that alone poses so much risk. And then just having that large number of people. I mean, there's thousands of people that commute into the Twitter office every single day. And just having that level of interaction and like social is like completely different than, you know, like even going out to dinner or going to the grocery store. It's just a much larger scale. So there's definitely no benefit or rush to get employees back into the office in the tech scene. We're definitely feeling that vibe. It's like really relaxed. So I think that employees will be remote for quite some time, potentially forever, depending on how things pan out.
So as we mentioned earlier, we're definitely going to be remote through March of 2021. And we've said in previous videos that our plan is to move down to Palo Alto, which is still our plan, but we're definitely delaying that right now because there's not much of a reason to be there physically close to the office when like employees aren't even coming in.
Yeah, so we were moving to Palo Alto because it was close to Josh's new job headquarters and close to the Caltrain for commute and all of those things. But we don't have to go into the office for at least 8 months, and Silicon Valley is one of the most expensive places to live in America. So we thought we might as well take advantage of this time where we can be remote and flexible to do something a little different. So we aren't moving to Palo Alto right now. We've decided to try out living in various tech hubs around the country for 1 month stays. So with Airbnb month-long stays being like half of SF rent, like insane, a lot more affordable than like Palo Alto and San Francisco. The guarantee of being remote for at least 8 months, and our ability to be like distant and smart and still safe for those extended periods, you know, quarantining in different places. It really made the decision really easy.
So this also kicks off our Silicon Valley knockoff series where we will show living and working in various tech hubs around the country.
So the Silicon Valley knockoffs that we'll be trying is, first, we have been, as you guys know, in Utah. So Silicon Slopes for the month of August. And starting September 1st, we will be back in California, but the southern part on Silicon Beach for the month of September. And then we will be going up to Silicon Forest, so the Seattle area, which is a big tech hub, obviously, for Microsoft and Amazon. And then in November, we will be in Hawaii. We call it the Silicon Surf, but we're just making that up. That's really not like a tech hub. We just wanted to go to Hawaii. And then for December, we'll obviously be doing like holiday stuff with family. And then after December, we haven't booked anything yet, but our tentative plans are to try out Silicon Desert in the Phoenix area, Silicon Hills in Austin, Texas, and then Silicon Alley in New York City.
So this is going to be a super fun next 8 months for us. We're really excited. If you live in any of these areas, let us know in the comments things that you'd like to see us do while we're there. And then also if there's any areas that you feel like need to be on this list of places we visit, let us know.
Also, I think I'm curious, like, what are you guys interested in seeing at these places? Do you guys want like cost of living comparisons, like an idea of what tech companies are there and how much they pay, or just like general vlogs of us testing out these tech hubs, these Silicon Valley knockoffs? And I just wanted to say, we know we were like really nervous to post this because we were worried about any backlash that we may receive for, you know, not staying in like a single location. Obviously there's a big risk with congregating in large groups and like socializing and meeting up. And Josh and I just kind of weighed all the factors, and we don't know anybody in these cities. It's just gonna be like him and I interacting. Obviously we're gonna have like grocery pickup and like those types of things, but gonna be as socially distant as possible, not really interacting with anybody but ourselves, and staying in our Airbnb, hitting up maybe some of the beaches or like outside public spaces and like driving around and experiencing.
We're not like going to these places to interact with people. We're kind of, if we're gonna be quarantined, like we might as well go be quarantined in an Airbnb in LA. So yeah, we're definitely like keeping safety at the forefront of this entire adventure.
That's our take on like the new remote culture in tech and like where it's headed, what's happening currently, and our plans for the future. Thanks for watching, guys, and we're excited to take you on this next 8-month long adventure. Let's go.